Hello everyone, so today we're going to be talking about the disappearance and death of Cédrika Provencher. First of all, I want to thank Victoria Charlton for her video because a lot of the information that I'm about to say is information that I found in her video. So this case, the case of Cédrika Provencher, was a really big deal when it happened. I sort of remember it. I was 7 at the time, so I was quite young. But I do remember going multiple times to this place. I think it was a grocery store, and they had like missing posters, and I remember seeing hers like for years. I also remember my mom being like, oh, if someone asks you to search for their dog or if they offer you candy, like don't follow them. It was the first time that I was like really scared of getting kidnapped and that I understood that some people could do that. So, Cédrika Provencher was born on August 29, 1997 in a town in Quebec, Canada called Trois-Rivières. It's right between Montreal and Quebec City. Her father was named Martin Provencher and her mother was named Karine Fortier. They weren't together anymore at the time, but they still had shared custody of their daughters because Cédrika also had a sister named Melissa. Cédrika also had a younger brother that her mother had with another person, and he was about to turn 1 the week after she disappeared. We do not have a lot of information on her life. Her family said that she was really happy, she was really determined, and that she just loved life in general. So the day that Cédrika disappeared was on July 31st, 2007. So Cédrika was 9 at the time. She was on her bike at a park called Parc Chapet to meet with her friends. At first, she was also with her sister, but that day they had the choice to either stay at the park and play with their friends or go back to their house and watch a movie. Cédrika wanted to stay at the park and her sister wanted to go back home to watch the movie, and that's what they did. When she was at the park, a man approached her to ask her to search for a dog that some lady had lost and that the dog was black and white. Cédrika accepted. We know this because at the time Cédrika was with a friend and that's what the friend says happened. And we also know this because some people saw Cédrika going around the neighborhood with her bike. I don't know if there really was a missing dog and if the man that asked her to search for the dog had something to do with her disappearance. Nobody came forward to say that they had a missing dog, which kind of is weird to me, but also I feel like if someone wanted to kidnap someone and ask them to search for a dog, they would just ask her to get in the car. So I don't understand why someone would like say there was a missing dog and then let her search and then kidnap her. That doesn't make sense to me, but that could have happened. I don't know. I also saw some sources that said that they saw Cédrika with a man and with a friend searching for the dog, but I could not confirm that. When Cédrika didn't return home that night, her parents really started to worry because it was unlike her to be late, either for dinner or for bedtime, whenever she needed to be home. And whenever she was to be late, like because she was with a friend or something, she would always call her parents to let them know.
Non, votre fille, est-ce que c'était dans ses habitudes, par exemple, de se promener comme ça à l'extérieur le soir?
Elle dépassait pas 8 ans, moins tard. OK? Alors, ses habitudes dans le secteur, elle demeure dans le secteur, les amis. Oui, je pense que c'est un secteur qui est quand même tranquille habituellement. Les petites rues qui, je peux voir, qui se promènent en demi-ronde, tout ça. Alors, oui, c'est une habitude, puis habituellement, elle respectait très bien son horaire.
Le fait qu'elle cherchait un chien, ça vous surprend?
De ma fille, non. Si quelqu'un avait besoin d'aide pour trouver un chien, puis c'est les témoignages qu'on a eus à date, ça ne me surprend pas de ma fille parce que c'est comme ça.
When Cédrika disappeared, her sister, who was 10 at the time, didn't really understand what was going on, but she says that she had a feeling that somebody had done something to her sister. So her parents went looking around the neighborhood a little bit, and when they couldn't find her, they called the police, and Cédrika was deemed as missing that same night. Around 8:30 that night, her bike was found behind a dumpster about 100 meters from the park, but it was later found that her bike was only there because some guys had tried to steal it and they left it there afterwards, and that kind of pushed back the case a little bit because the bike had been moved and we don't know where it was first found. So the police had two possibilities of what could have happened. Either she disappeared or she ran away. But at 9 years old, it's rare for a child to run away for multiple hours. You know, we've all done it, like when you're mad at your parents, you get on your bike and then like you roam around and then you come back like a few hours later maybe. So the police and some volunteers started searching the area on foot, with boats, with helicopters, with four-wheelers. They would even stop cars in the area to show them a picture of Cédrika to ask them if they had seen her. To obtain more information on what might have happened, the police used an interesting method. They put 3 children that were at the park on July 31st at the same time as Cédrika under hypnosis and asked them questions. With the children's answers and with the help of other witnesses, it was found that there was a red Acura that was driving around at the time, even 2 days before Cédrika disappeared. The car was also spotted on CCTV footage the day that Cédrika went missing. Some people said that they saw Cédrika talk to the man in the red Acura, but that couldn't be confirmed. So that car was basically the only clue that the police could go off of. At the time, there were around 250 owners of red Acuras in Quebec, and the police decided to interview all of them, 5 of which lived in Trois-Rivières. The police asked those 5 owners to take a polygraph test, and only 1 refused. That person was 27-year-old Jonathan Bété. Obviously, the police thought it was odd for only 1 person to refuse the test, so they decided to search Jonathan's car, and they found that the car had been thoroughly washed. The police also confirmed that the red Acura seen on CCTV footage was Jonathan's car, so Jonathan became the one and only suspect in the case. Unfortunately, the police didn't have enough evidence to arrest him for Cédrika's disappearance. But the police did search Jonathan's home and workplace, I believe, and they also tracked his IP address, and they found that Jonathan had watched child pornography. So Jonathan was arrested in 2016 for that, but the charges were dropped in 2018 because the police had obtained the information illegally. Jonathan is now suing the Sûreté du Québec, which is basically the national police, for painting him as a pedophile and a killer. Cédrika's father was publicly involved in the case a lot. He did a lot of interviews, while Cédrika's mother was more quiet about the whole thing. She said that she preferred to deal with things privately. She also said that when she did do interviews, people were more concerned about making her cry to get views than the actual case. In 2013, when Cédrika would have been around 15-16 years old, people found a photo on Facebook of a Russian girl that looked a lot like Cédrika. The Quebec Journal even contacted the girl, but it was found that this was not Cédrika. The day of, or a few days after Cédrika's disappearance, there was a man that checked in a hotel in the town that Cédrika went missing in, and when he left, the staff of the hotel actually found bloodstains in his room. But this information was never disclosed to the police because apparently at the time the hotel was affiliated with like a famous criminal group in Quebec called the Hells Angels. And when the police did learn this information, they weren't able to search the room anymore because the hotel actually later burned down because of a propane explosion. So the case went cold for a really long time, but on December 11th, 2015, 8 years after Cédrika originally went missing, 2 hunters found a body in a town called Saint-Maurice, which is a town about 20 minutes from Trois-Rivières, and the body was confirmed to be Cédrika's.
Alors voilà donc une information de dernière heure qui vient de nous parvenir. La direction des enquêtes sur les crimes majeurs de la Sûreté du Québec vient d'annoncer avoir fait la découverte du corps de Cédrika Provencher. On vous a parlé un peu plus tôt dans ce bulletin de ce corps qui avait été retrouvé, des ossements par des chasseurs, ossements humains à Saint-Maurice, près de Trois-Rivières. Vous avez appelé les policiers. Eh bien donc, cette macabre découverte, la nouvelle vient d'être confirmée.
The family said that they always hoped that she was still alive, but when her remains were found, they knew that she had probably been killed. Her sister says that she was really angry because she couldn't fathom that someone could hurt a child. Cédrika was properly buried in 2016 during a private funeral. What is weird about the day that the remains were found is that on that same day, the main suspect, Jonathan Bété, went to the hospital because he thought he was having a heart attack, but it was found that he was actually having a panic attack. Her sister says that she sometimes remembers leaving Cédrika at the park while she went home, and she feels guilty because she thinks that as the older sister, she should have been able to protect Cédrika. Thankfully, she is getting professional help, and she is starting to understand that what happened to her sister was not her fault. There is a foundation managed by her grandfather, but they haven't received many donations since the pandemic because they made a lot of money from events. So I will link the website to the Cédrika Provencher Foundation in the description below if you're interested to check it out. But this is it for today's video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!